Hello my friends, I'm Al and welcome back to Al's Vinyl Collection. Now today we are going to be watching the Eagles performing Hotel California live in 1977 from the official Eagles YouTube channel. This was very highly recommended when I listened to the studio version of this song, so I can't not check this out. Now very quickly, I just wanted to say, going into this I'm not apprehensive, but I'm really interested to see how they handle this. Doing live sound in the 1970s compared to what we have today was an absolute nightmare. The technology was massive, loud, and hard to control, to say the least. So I really am curious to see how the front of house mixing engineers are going to handle a song of this size, from what we heard in the studio recording, live in 1977. Let's check this out.
My sight grew dim. I had to stop for the night. There she stood in the doorway, heard the mission bell, and I was thinking to myself, this could be heaven or this could be hell. Then she lit up a candle and she showed me the way. There were voices down the corridor. I thought I heard them say, welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely place, such a lovely face. There's plenty of room at the Hotel California. Any time of year, you can find it here. Her mind is different and twisted. She got the Mercedes Benz. She got a lot of pretty, pretty boys that she calls friends. How they dance in the courtyard, sweet summer sweat. Some dance to remember, some dance to forget. So I called him the captain, please bring me my wine. He said, we haven't had that spirit here since 1969. And still those voices are calling from far away. Wake you up in the middle of the night just to hear them say, welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely place, such a lovely face. We're living it up at the Hotel California. What a nice surprise, what a nice surprise. Bring your alibis. Mirrors on the ceiling, the pink champagne on ice. And she said, we're all just prisoners here of our own device. And in the master's chambers, gathered for the feast, they stab it with their stealing knives, but they just can't kill the beast. Last thing I remember, I was running for the door. I had to find a passage but you can never leave.
Okay, right. First and foremost, wow, seeing the guitarists in action. Now, please, I didn't have the time between work today to do some heavy research into this song. So please tell me the guitarists' names. I know that's Don Henley on the drums. We're going to talk about that because that blew my mind to find out that the vocalist is the drummer as well. We're not going to talk about that. That's fine. Watching those two guitarists play off each other is amazing. It's so much fun. I love watching stuff like this. At first, very, very firstly, those guitar tones as well, they are so on brand with the instruments they're playing. That was probably one of the cleanest rock Telecaster sounds I've heard, and also a double neck SG. Come on, come on, that's incredible. That's so cool to see. That is so cool to see. The array of guitars was really interesting to see. The 12-string acoustic as well, and the bassist who looked a lot like a young John Fogerty. If I can get my words out. Really fun to watch the two guitarists bouncing off one another. At first, when they were playing the solo, when the solo started, incredible. But watching the two guitarists kind of ping pong, switching between playing the rhythmic section and who's taking the solo, it was almost like the looks they were giving one another. It was almost like, okay, come on then, what have you got? Let's see what you can bring to the table. But then watching them play together, harmonizing that beautifully all through the song. They harmonize beautifully all through the song, but during that solo, that was, it was beautiful. It really, really was beautiful. The musicianship was unbelievable to see on stage. But I'll be honest, like, as a sound engineer, I was almost sweating watching that. So I just want to start with a huge round of applause to whoever was running the front of house consoles on that night, because that was something else. The very first thing then, kind of critically, guitars aside, or aside for now, rather, the first thing that I really want to speak about is the drums, is the vocalist, is Don Henley. having a vocalist as the drummer, especially during a time like the 70s, now it's not so much of an issue with all of our kind of modern technology and plugins and whatnot. Every time Henley would have opened his mouth to sing, the vocal mic is essentially becoming an overhead mic on that drum kit, especially with how with how close to the set it really was. You have massive bleed from the snare and the hi-hats. The engineer is likely using incredible off-axis rejection on that dynamic microphone, which I would imagine is probably a tight hypercardioid pattern, and then heavily EQing the vocal to somewhat reject the harshness of the cymbal and the snare, which is fairly easy to do. I would say the snare harder, more so. Some of those resonances would probably align with Don Henley's primary vocal resonances, but evidently not. And evidently the engineer on that night did an amazing job. It's a massive achievement to get his vocal being that clear, like I said, especially with the cymbal as well. The cymbal way up on the higher end of the EQ spectrum, and that's mostly where kind of the air and the upper body of a vocal lives. Probably, the main body of the vocal lives around the 2 to 4 kilohertz range, and the cymbal from about 5 kilohertz onwards would have been conflicting. So it's an amazing job, especially, like I said, for the 70s. It is just amazing. Harmonies wise, watching so many backing vocalists as well. When I listened to the studio version, I guess this is the big argument for listening versus watching. But you expect maybe 1 or 2 vocalists, not pretty much the entire group, to be harmonizing with one another. A pristine harmony, might I add, in the 70s when in-ear monitors didn't exist. That to me is somewhat mind-blowing. Singing harmonies like that tight in a massive arena, hearing each other perfectly, using probably wedges, is mind-blowing. It really is mind-blowing. The guitars, I know we spoke about them already, but I don't know. I'm just working my way through the band. I think we've kind of covered the guitars really, but I think it's just amazing watching the two of them. And I think it's amazing also the utilization of so many 12 strings. I don't believe, watching this, I don't believe we heard the electric 12 string at all. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. But the idea that there's an Eagles song out there with a 12 string acoustic and a 12 string electric on at the same time, that tickled past my brain, I think. Off the top of my head, I think this is probably everything that I can think of having just watched this. What I will say is especially impressive for me is just, it's really from an engineering perspective, and it's the lack of feedback. It's the gain staging and the control the engineer had over the soundscape that night, which I find is amazing. Right now in the modern day, they're called modern line arrays. You go to a concert and you see the big curved speakers on the front of the stage and kind of around the stage. They focus sound precisely and they manage sound very, very well. Now, obviously in the 70s, those hadn't been invented yet. So they were probably using, I would say, probably a Clare Brothers box PA system. The stage volume up there would have been deafening. So again, to have wedges up with that deafening noise, stage wedges, which are effectively just angled speakers in a way so the band can hear a front of house mix, so they can hear themselves. It's amazing. It really is amazing that there isn't this clash, and to have all of this, to have all of this going, all of this kind of environmental, this environmental situation going on with these, the speakers and the band and the kind of deafening noise. To have a bass that punchy in the mix with that much low end, that's impressive. It is really impressive. It's very easy to say with a classic track that it just sounds good because it's a classic track. But this is one of those instances where this isn't just a classic track. This is a masterclass in, especially with this live audio, a masterclass in live mixing, and really a masterclass in musicianship as well from the band to perform so tightly in such a, I guess at the time it wouldn't have been strange, but now to us in the modern day with how many kind of amenities we have with live performances, such a strange environment. You know, they performed perfectly, and I would probably go as far as to say this is the real art of live sound engineering. I saw another video called Lion Eyes. I didn't watch it, but I saw it come up when I was looking for this. And having heard this, I would like to ask you, as Eagles fans, is Lion Eyes a song we go to next? Is that where we take this? Because I want to carry on listening to the Eagles. I think that was amazing, and that's really excited me. That's really kind of given me a drive. Thank you for joining me for this video. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Anything else that I need to know, please give me some context on the band if you'd be so kind. I will, of course, do my own historical analysis of the group, but I would really like to hear what you think. It makes me really happy to see all your comments and to read them all. I do read every comment I get. I work a very tough shift pattern. So I work 4 days on, 4 days off, 12-hour shifts. But in those 4 days off, it's either a game of recovering from sleep or recording these videos or recording documentary videos for this channel, which is soon to be coming. Actually, by the time this is released, Nebraska has just come out. So go watch it. Go watch Why We're Still Talking About Nebraska. It's something I'm really proud of. If you would like to carry on seeing this content, please do consider subscribing. It's free. You can always unsubscribe later, and it helps me out massively with the channel. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and take care.